Today I want to start with a simple idea. Human resources area is changing because work itself is changing. For many years, when people thought about HR, they imagined contracts, payroll, attendance records, recruitment documents, employee files, and compliance procedures. All of that is still important, of course. A company cannot function well if those basic processes are weak. But today, HR is expected to do something much broader. It is expected to help organizations understand people, anticipate needs, develop talent, protect employee experience, and support business strategy. That is why we talk about digital HR. When I use this term, I'm not referring only to using computers, software, or online forms. Digital HR is not simply traditional, it is a different way of thinking about people management. It means using digital technologies, data, analytics, artificial intelligence, online platforms, and integrated systems to make HR more strategic, more agile, more connected to real organizational needs. But I want to be very clear from the beginning. Digital HR is not about removing the human side of human resources. Actually, it should do the opposite. It should help to understand the human side of work more deeply. Technology can show us patterns that are difficult to see with intuition alone. It can help us detect risks, identify opportunities, and design better experiences for employees. However, technology should never make us forget that behind every data point, there is a person, a story, a family, a career, and a set of expectations. For example, imagine that a company has a high turnover rate. In traditional HR, we might simply report that many employees are leaving. We might prepare exit documents, update files, and begin another recruitment process. But in digital HR, we ask deeper questions. Why are people leaving? Is the problem salary, leadership, lack of promotion, poor communication, burnout, or limited flexibility? Are employees leaving from one department in particular? Are new hires leaving faster than experienced employees? Are people resigning after performance reviews, after leadership changes, or after specific periods of pressure? This is where digital tools become powerful. They help HR move from reaction to interpretation, and from interpretation to prevention. Traditional HR often asks, what happened? Digital HR asks, what did it happen? What may happen next? And what should we do about it? That shift is essential because organizations cannot afford to manage talent only after problems appear. They need to anticipate. This brings us to talent analytics. I like to explain talent analytics as the bridge between people, data, and decision making. It is the systematic use of employee related information to improve decisions about hiring, performance, learning, engagement, retention, succession, and workforce planning. In simple words, talent analytics help us from intuition alone to informed judgment. This does not mean intuition is useless. Experienced managers often have valuable instincts. They know their teams, they understand workplace dynamics, and they can sense when something is not working well. But intuition has limits. It can be biased, it can be incomplete, It can be influenced by personal preferences or recent experiences. Data, when used responsibly, can help us confirm, question, or refine what we think we know. For instance, a manager may believe that employees are leaving because competitors offer better salaries. That may be true in some cases, but when HR analyzes the data, it may discover that the strongest predictor of resignation is not salary, but lack of career growth. Employees may feel stuck. They may not see a future inside the organization. They may not receive feedback, mentoring, or opportunities to learn. In that case, increasing salary alone would not solve the real problem. The organization would need better career paths, leadership development, and internal mobility. Big data in HR refers to the large and diverse amount of employee related information that organizations collect from different sources. This may include recruitment platforms, performance reviews, learning systems, engagement surveys, absenteeism records, internal promotions, compensation history, employee feedback, and even collaboration patterns. But the value is not in having more data. A company can have thousands of reports and still make poor decisions. The real value appears when data becomes insight and insight becomes action. I often tell students that data is like a map. A map does not work for us, but it helps us to understand where we are placed, where the risks are, and which direction may be better. In the same way, HR data doesn't make decisions by itself. People make decisions, but good data can make people decide better. Talent analytics becomes truly strategic when it connects people decisions with organizational goals. Let me give you an example. If a company wants to expand internationally, HR needs to know whether the organization has employees with language skills, intercultural competences, and digital abilities. Maybe we can add to leadership potential, mobility readiness, and other kind of skills. If the company wants to automate certain processes, HR needs to identify which roles will change, which skills which will become obsolete, and which workers need reskilling the platforms. If a company wants to improve customer experience, HR needs to understand whether employee engagement, training, leadership, and workload are supporting that objective. So, talent analytics is not only about measuring employees, it is about understanding the relationship between people and strategy. It helps answer practical questions. Which skills will we need in the next 3 years? Which employees may be at risk of leaving? Which training programs actually improve performance? Which leadership behaviors increase engagement? Which recruitment channels bring candidates who stay longer and perform better? Well, today, talent analytics usually operates at 4 levels. The first level is descriptive analytics. This tells us what happened. For example, turnover increased by 12% last year. Absenteeism grew in one department. Training participation decreased among middle managers. This level is useful because it gives a clear picture of reality. The second level is diagnostic analytics. This topic asks why something happened. Why did turnover increase? Why did absenteeism grow? Why Did employees stop participating in training? Maybe the workload increased. Maybe supervisors were not communicating well. Maybe employees didn't see value in the programs offered. Diagnostic analytics helps us to avoid superficial explanations. The third level is predictive analytics. Here, we estimate what may happen in the future. For example, a model may identify employees who have higher probability of resignation based on patterns such as low engagement, limited promotion opportunities, salary stagnation, or poor manager feedback. This doesn't mean we should label people as future resignations. That would be too simplistic and ethically dangerous. It means HR can detect risks and act earlier. And the fourth level is always prescriptive analytics. Here we suggest what the organization can do. If employees are at risk of leaving because they lack growth opportunities, the company may create mentoring programs, internal mobility initiatives, leadership conversations, or personalized development plans. If a training program is not producing results, HR may redesign it. If one recruitment channel brings candidates who leave quickly, the company may adjust its hiring strategy. This progression makes HR more proactive. The goal is not to control people. The main objective is to understand patterns and design better work experiences. This is very important because there is a fine line between using data to support people and using data to monitor them excessively. Digital HR must be intelligent but also ethical. Let me give you some practical examples. In recruitment analytics, a company can compare different hiring sources. Perhaps it discovers that candidates coming from employee referrals stay longer and perform better than candidates from generic job boards. Or maybe it finds that one platform produces many applicants but very few successful hires. With that information, HR can invest time and money more effectively. In retention analytics, HR can analyze engagement surveys, salary progression, manager feedback, internal mobility, and finally, absenteeism. Maybe the data can show that employees who have not received feedback in 6 months are more likely to leave. Or perhaps employees who do not see a promotion opportunities coming sooner after 2 years begin to disengage. This allows HR to intervene before resignation becomes inevitable. In learning analytics, HR can evaluate whether training programs actually work. Many organizations offer courses, workshops, and certifications, but they do not always measure impact. Did the leadership course improve team communication? What do you think? Did the sales training increase performance? Did the digital skills program help employees adapt to new tools? Learning analytics help us and helps organizations move beyond attendance and ask whether learning changed behavior. One curious and important fact here is that many organizations, a lot of them, are data rich but insight poor. They collect a huge amount of information, but at the end, they don't use it well. They, they have the reports, dashboards, surveys, and systems, but decisions are still made based on habit or hierarchy. This is one of the biggest challenges of digital HR. Having technology is not the same as having a digital culture. A company may buy an advanced platform, But if managers do not know how to read data, if employees do not trust the system, or if leaders ignore the findings, the tool becomes just a decoration. Digital transformation is not only technical, it is cultural. It requires trust, training, communication, and leadership. The benefits of talent analytics are significant. It improves decision making because HR can support recommendations with evidence. It reduces guesswork because decisions are based on patterns rather than assumptions. It helps identify hidden risks, such as departments with low engagement or groups with limited development opportunities. It supports workforce planning because leaders can see which skills are available and which are missing. It can just give a strange retention, improve identity and inclusion initiatives. It also helps HR professionals speak the language of senior leadership. Instead of saying employee seems disengaged, HR can say engagement dropped in two departments, especially among employees with limited career mobility. And this is connected to higher resignation risk. That sentence is much stronger because it gives leaders a specific problem, a possible cause, and a reason to act. But we also need to talk about risks. Talent analytics must be handled with care. Data can improve decisions, but it can also reinforce bias. If the information is incomplete, poorly interpreted, or based on unfair historical patterns, the system may reproduce injustice. Think about recruitment algorithms. If a company historically hired mostly one type of candidate and the algorithm is trained with that past data, the result will be the same always. The system may learn to prefer similar profiles. It may reject talented people simply because they do not look like the previous hires. That is why digital HR requires ethical governance, transparency, privacy protection, and human oversight. We must remember that employees are not numbers. They are not only productivity scores or mathematics, are not engagement percentages or risk categories. Technology should support human dignity. It should not reduce people to dashboards. A dashboard can help us just seeing trends, but it cannot fully understand personal circumstances, emotional realities, or human potential. That is why I like to say the future of HR should be data informed, not data blind, but also not data dominated. Being data blind means ignoring evidence and making decisions only by instinct. Being data dominated means allowing numbers to replace judgment. The best approach is balance. We should use data, but we should also ask ethical questions. Where did this data come from? Is it accurate? Could it be biased? Are employees aware of how their information is used? Who has access to it? What consequences will this decision have? Now, let us move to digital talent management systems. A digital talent management system is an integrated software platform that helps organizations attract, develop, evaluate, engage, retain, and plan talent. In practical terms, it creates a digital map of the employee life cycle. It can follow the person from candidate attraction to recruitment, onboarding, performance, learning career development, succession planning, and obviously retention. This is useful because in many companies, HR information is just fragmented. Recruitment data may be in one platform always, performance reviews in another file, training records somewhere else, and employee feedback in a different system. When information is just spread, leaders cannot see the full picture. Digital talent management systems centralize information and make it easier to understand talent as all of them. A complete system may include recruitment and applicant tracking, onboarding, performance management, goal alignment, learning and development, skills mapping, career planning, internal mobility, succession planning, compensation, engagement surveys, feedback tools, dashboards, and analytics. Let me explain all of this with a simple example. Imagine a company hires a new employee. That the recruitment model stores the candidate's profile, interview notes, skills, and hiring process. Once the person is hired, the onboarding model helps the people inside the department just to understand maybe the policies, meet the rest of the team, and being the start from it. Obviously, the learning model recommends courses to be trained. The skills model identifies strengths and gaps. The career model shows possible internal opportunities. The succession model helps the company to identify future leaders. When all these elements are connected, the organization can make better decisions. It can see not only what a person is doing today, but also what they could become tomorrow. That is very powerful when used responsibly. Some well known examples of digital talent management systems include SAP, Success Factors, Oracle Talent Management, Workday, UKG, Cornerstone, and Microsoft Viva. These platforms are not only databases, they are decision support ecosystems. They help the leaders to see talent as a dynamic organizational resource. For example, SAP Success Factors connects areas such as recruitment, onboarding learning, performance, and succession. Oracle Talent Management emphasizes skills, for example, career development, learning, recruiting, skills-based planning. Workday connects recruitment, talent development, learning employee sentiment, and skills-powered decisions. The common idea of all of those platforms is the same: to integrate. These systems try to connect different parts of the employee experience into one coherent view. The benefits are clear. Digital talent management systems can save time because they automate repetitive tasks. They reduce administrative mistakes because information is stored consistently. They improve employee experience because workers can access information, training, feedback, and opportunities more easily. They create more consistent HR processes because managers follow shared procedures. They help leaders identify skills gaps, turnover risks, leadership pipelines, and workforce strengths. For employees, these systems can offer clearly career paths. Instead of feeling invisible, employees may see what skills they need to grow, what learning opportunities are available, and what internal positions could be possible in the future. For HR leaders, these systems provide dashboards that make invisible patterns visible. Skills, potential, risks, and opportunities becomes easier to detect. But again, we need balance. A system does not automatically create good talent management. A company can have expensive software and still have poor leadership, weak communication, unfair promotions, or low trust. Technology can support a good culture, but it cannot replace it. In fact, if the culture is not healthy, technology may expose problems without solving them. And this is very dangerous. So, when we think about digital HR, talent analytics, and talent management systems, we should not see them as separated topics. They are connected. Digital HR is the broader transformation. Talent analytics is the use of data to understand and improve people decisions. Talent management systems are the digital infrastructure that organizes and connects employee life cycle. The real challenge is to use these tools with intelligence and humanity. Digital HR should help companies ask better questions. Not only how many employees do we have, but also what skills do they bring? What do they need to grow? Where are they struggling? What kind of leadership helps them perform? What risks are emerging? What opportunities are we missing? It should also help organizations become more fairer. If used well, analytics can reveal inequalities in promotion, compensation, access to training, or employee experience. For example, a company may discover that certain groups receive fewer development opportunities or that some departments have consistently lower well-being scores. That information can help leaders act with more responsibility. However, fairness is not automatic. Data must be interpreted with care. Algorithms must be audited. Employees must be informed. Privacy must be protected. And final decisions should include human judgment. I want to close this video with this reflection. The future of HR is digital, but it proposed most certain profoundly human. Technology can help us recruit faster, analyze better, and predict risks. But HR will always be about people. It is about trust, dignity, growth, leadership, belonging, and purpose. Sorry. A good HR professional in the digital age is not someone who only knows how to use software. It is someone who can connect data with empathy, strategy with ethics, and technology with human development. That is the real value of digital HR. It doesn't replace the human dimension of work. It helps us see it more clearly, more responsibility, and hopefully more wisdom.